What's up, everyone? Welcome to a better late than never edition of Movie Scene. I'm your host, Chris Giddens. And before I get started ranking the movies that I watched in March, I'm curious as to what were some of your favorites, whether it was the best movie you saw in March or top three, anything you want to let me know. I'm curious to hear it. Please let me know in the comments below. And without further ado, here are the 10 movies that I watched in the month of March, ranked in order of my preference for them. Number 10, Life's a Breeze. A random selection on Netflix by my wife during a sick day. It grabbed my attention by just being a solid movie. The acting wasn't bad, the driving plot device was interesting enough, but the best aspect was actually the cinematography. Nothing amazing, again, just a well-rounded, overall good film. Number 9, Friday the 13th Part 2. The third or fourth time that I've seen it, and it was better than I remembered, although not as awesome as I'm sure I thought it was as a kid. It's still a fun entry in the Jason Voorhees mythos, and it definitely holds up for those of us who are fans of the old school slasher horror flicks. Number 8, Tropic Thunder. I originally held off on checking this one out because I thought I already loved this movie before when it was called Three Amigos. But I finally did, and I liked it regardless. This was my second time watching it, and I didn't find it as funny as I had remembered, but there are still some hilarious moments. Number 7, Movie 43. Another example that fits my conspiracy theory of the Hollywood machine purposefully denigrating a good movie. The trailer just looked awful, the critics slammed it, and then the audiences fell in line. Myself included, as I held off on watching it for so long. But I finally did, and I laughed nonstop the entire movie. And one sketch involving a young girl's first period is some of the most brilliant comedy that I've seen this decade. Don't believe me, don't believe anyone else, decide for yourself. Number 6, Spring Breakers. I expected the social commentary on youth hedonism and debauchery and the next evolution of sex, drugs, and music that your parents hate, but I didn't expect the incredibly poignant and nuanced subtext on race and privilege. There's a scene in a pool hall that just completely changes the entire tone and nature of the film. Number 5, The Master. An interesting character study with some beautiful cinematography, but slightly overrated in my opinion. Regardless, the acting is superb. Philip Seymour Hoffman was one of the best, a tragic loss gone far too soon. Amy Adams is excellent in her few scenes, but Joaquin Phoenix, he steals the show. He just delivers a masterful performance, pun intended. Number 4, Bernie. Jack Black, who can sometimes be a caricature of himself, is actually perfect in this role. However, most noteworthy is that Linklater continues to successfully redefine genres and how stories are told. His ongoing experiments in narrative make him one of the greatest filmmakers of our time. Number 3, Django Unchained. Part of the reason that I put off watching this one for so long is that I'm just a bit over Tarantino, especially the stylized violence. One could argue that the cartoonish gunfight splatter highlights the seriousness of the brutality towards the slaves, but I think a minimal approach would have been more effective. Regardless, the cast is what makes this enjoyable. Just incredible performances all around. Number 2, Badlands. You have to see this more than once and years apart to fully appreciate it. It's like watching a mythological American story told from a time recently extinct. There's something much deeper than nostalgia and sentimentality. The performances by Sheen and Spacek, the music, the shot composition, basically the entire film is perfect. Number 1, Fist of the North Star. Like many others, this was the first Japanimation that I watched back in the day, thanks to Streamline Pictures and their terrible dub. Luckily, I didn't know any better, and this initiated a slightly obsessive hunt by my friends and I to find new-to-us anime, and during a pre-internet time. As a result, it opened up an entire new world for me to explore. Alright, that's it. As always, I would love to hear what you think, so please let me know in the comments below. And I'm curious to hear what were some of your favorite movies that you watched during the month of March. You can also connect with me on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Giddens. And until next time, thanks for watching.